consideration to register a business. And what is important also is unregistered businesses, could be if HMRC discover businesses operating without due registration, they can be fined. Penalties can be imposed on those business owners, so to avoid fines and penalties and other implications, then it's advisable for businesses to be formally registered with the agencies, HMRC and Companies House. Okay, so now the types of business structure, these are the key ones. Sole trader. So if you're operating as a sole proprietor of a business and you don't want to register as a company, just for example, Uber drivers, a lot of them, they are self-employed businesses, and they just register with HMRC. They don't need to register with Companies House. What they do basically is to file their return at the end of the year. So this sort of businesses, they are very, a lot of people are registered as self-employed in the UK, quite a vast number of people. It's easy. The registration is very quick, very easy with HMRC. But what is, the challenging part that I've observed about sole trader is keeping records. Is usually a big challenge for them. Some of them hire accountants to do that for them, but it comes at a significant cost. So that's sole trader. It's a common business, registering as self-employed business. Another one is partnership, where two or more people share responsibility. That also requires registration with HMRC. Profit and liabilities are shared among partners. So that's partnership. There is another one which is very common. Limited company, I would say, is the most common. Limited company and sole self-employment. These are the most common business registration in the UK. For limited company, separate legal entity, that's what it means. So it must be registered with Companies House, of course, registered with HMRC for tax purposes as well. And what is important, once you are registered with Companies House, such businesses must comply with corporate reporting rules. The good thing with limited companies is that your liabilities are limited. The business is considered as an entity on its own. So there is no unlimited liability, as it were. If the business go into bankruptcy or into liquidation, it will not have any direct effect in terms of financial obligation on the part of the directors. Everything is limited to the business, entity itself. Then you have limited partnership, liability partnership. That's another kind of business in the UK. It's similar to partnership business, but they have limited liability. And then there is a community interest company, the CIC, which is designed for social enterprises, businesses that are not set up for the sole purpose of profit making, but any profit they make, they actually, is plowed back into the business for social impact. And that's also will be registered with Companies House and the CIC regulator. Of course, there are many other structures, but these are the common structures in the UK. So the steps to register a business, of course, you choose a business structure. What sort of business do you want to set up? Do you want to run as a sole proprietorship? Then that will be self-employment. Or do you want to have a limited structure, which is to register it as a company? And so if you're registering a company, pick a business name. You need a business name, and the name must be unique, must stand out. You can't register an existing name. Your name must be completely unique, so it must meet the required guideline to register a new business with Companies House. So name is very important. Some, of course, will have logo and all that, but the most important is the business name. So register with the appropriate authority. So traders and partnership, of course, register with HMRC for self-assessment. For limited companies, of course, the registration, which is first and foremost with Companies House. Of course, there is a registration with HMRC for tax purposes. Then register for taxes, VAT. If your turnover for the last 12 months exceed the threshold of £90,000, then you need to register your business for VAT, so you can charge VAT on any sales that you make. And then PAYE, if you're employing staff, you need to register with HMRC for PAYE, because every business, if you employ yourself, as a director, and you pay yourself, monthly salary, you have to pay tax on it. Of course, if it meets the exceed the required threshold. So for that, you need to actually ensure your business is registered for PAYE, so that you can file your tax returns for the employees. So for a business, you pay employer insurance contribution for every employee you employ. If you employ yourself, the same thing. So you pay employer insurance contribution. Of course, the employee also will pay income tax and national insurance contribution for employee. And then another thing, some businesses require licenses or permits before they can operate. For example, to operate a food chain, you need licenses from the local council, for example, to ensure you comply with health and safety, food hygiene, and the likes. Some businesses, for example, to operate an accountancy firm, you need to obtain a license from the professional body. The same thing with lawyers and many other. So those are the things you need to consider. What sort of licenses or permits will be required for your business, because without meeting up the requirement for licenses, that might be violating the regulatory requirement. See, so you need to bear that in mind. Submitting self-assessment tax return and financial statement, very important. Every sole trader or partnership must file self-assessment tax return annually with HMRC. The HMRC is moving to making tax digital in next year, where it will not just be annual return now, to be quarterly. You can see the demand they are placing on sole traders. So, I think for businesses with revenue above £60,000, they will start the making tax digital (MTD) from next year. Then I think in 2 years to come, all sole traders, all self-employed businesses will have to file not just annual return but quarterly return. So I would say the administrative demand on sole traders and business as a whole, I would say, is increasing day by day. So there will be need for more accountants or those who would help businesses to ensure that they are meeting the regulatory requirement. For limited companies, annual account must be submitted. It's a requirement. If a business fails in submitting the annual account, there are fines and penalties, and I'm telling you, it's a lot. And some businesses have gone into bankruptcy and all that for not meeting the annual, making the annual return, because the penalties and fines just would be accumulating almost every day. So they submit a confirmation of statement to Companies House for limited companies, and then they will file a company tax return, which is a CT600 with HMRC. And if there's corporation tax to pay, they have to pay the tax, on profit. And that is very important. So businesses must also maintain accurate record for at least 5 to 6 years for auditing and compliance. Now, business in the UK can be audited by HMRC at any point in time. And that's why it's required that if you are running a business, register with a Companies House. You must ensure you have a very good business record. You must keep your business record for 5 to 6 years, because you could be randomly picked for audit. And it's nothing to be afraid of, but it's just it's part of the requirement. So if a company is randomly picked for audit, if the director is able to handle it, fine. If the director is not able to handle it, perhaps you could contact an accountant to assist in having a fruitful discussion with the auditors from HMRC. But I just want us to bear in mind that a company can be audited by HMRC to evaluate whether they are fully complying with the rules, or they appropriately paying their corporation tax, or a lot of things they could investigate different things about a company. So please let's bear that in mind. Starting a business on a skilled worker visa. I know a lot of people have been wondering, can I really start a business on a skilled worker visa? Now, I think maybe our dear immigration lawyer will shed more light on this, but as far as I know, based on what I've read on the home of the UKBA website, yes, you can, but there are some eligibility criteria here and there. So skilled worker visa holders in the UK can work up to 20 hours per week. So you can do, if you're a skilled worker, you can do an extra 20 hours job, similar to the job, in which you obtain skilled worker visa. Or you could also set up a business, but you have to comply with 20 hours rule. So if you have a business set up and you're on skilled worker visa, you can't work more than 20 hours. So, and that is important. And there are eligible occupation code. If you go on the UKBA website, you will see businesses that can be set up by skilled worker visa. Okay. So you can be a director of a business, but you have to check the code to see whether the business you want to set up falls under this eligible occupation code. Now, so you can, but it's 20 hours per week. So if your business will require more than 20 hours per week, then perhaps you will switch to another visa, whether Global Talent Visa, Innovator Visa, or some other visa that is available for entrepreneurs. So that's important. That's what I've seen, because I've also, read some advice from lawyers that will say you cannot. But on the UKVA website, it says you can. The only, what is important to note is that you can't work more than 20 hours. So if you can justify that you're not doing more than 20 hours in your business, I think you're fine. But if it seems that the business, because they can audit this, they can look at the revenue of the business and they can say, if you are making so amount in a month or the whole year, and you only spend 20 hours per week, and you are the only director, the only employee, they might begin to raise eyebrow that perhaps you are exceeding the 20 hours requirement. But that's all I can say for now. I think if you need further advice or guidance on this, maybe an immigration lawyer will provide further guidance. So that is what I would say on that. Now, scaling your business. The good thing is just not about starting a business, but scaling it. So, to ensure that your business is thriving, is operating as a going concern, and that is, I think that is very is a dream that every business owner should have. That you don't want to operate in a small, localized level. Perhaps you want to expand your business, employ a lot of people. And, I think that should be a dream that every business owner must have. But what I would say is this: research and planning is very important. It's just, even if you want to start a new business, you need a business plan. And that would help in terms of starting it maybe smoothly, or well prepared. And also in your business plan, you could have a scale-up plan in your business plan. So research about the industry, the business itself. Even if you're already in the business, do a lot of research and do a lot of planning. That is very important, because you could scale and probably make huge losses if you don't scale properly. So because if care is not taken, the larger your business, if you don't know how to handle cost, you could see your average cost skyrocketing, and at the end of the day, your returns could drop significantly if that is not well managed. So that's why research and planning is very important. Do a proper business research, do a proper financial planning, so that you're scaling, you're expanding your business, but at a reduced cost. Very important. And that's how you can maximize your profit. Customer-centric approach. Now, I say this because this is important. Your business must be customer-centric. You know, one thing I've observed about African businesses, I would say, is you want to start a business this year and you want to make significant profit this year. But I don't know, but it doesn't work out that way. You know, sometimes maybe even your first year, I'm telling you, if you have a proper business plan, you could even have a business plan to show that you are making a loss in the first year, but you're building a customer base. You are, you know, retaining customers, and then maybe 2-3 years down the line, then you begin to, you know, see profit rising bit by bit, because what is important is customer. You have a product you want to sell. You need to ensure that it meets the expectation of your customer, so that you have this customer retention. Customers can, you know, you have good referrals about your products, about the services you offer, and then you know, your brand becomes household brand. You know, so these are some of the things you need to consider about if you are scaling your business. You know, are you growing your customer base? You see, then secure the right funding. Some businesses, they start a business this year, they begin to take huge loans. You need to do thorough investment analysis to know whether, if you're scaling up, is it going to be viable? If you borrow to scale up, is it going to be a viable, you know, scaling up? You know, you need to do serious financial analysis to know whether you're able to secure the right funding and the cost of the funding, and would it actually lead to scaling your business to the extent where returns are maximized or your profits are maximized. So secure the right funding, bank loans, but ensure that it is not, the interest is not outrageous, the terms of the loan is not unbearable for the business. So, you know, that is one area that, you know, you need to consider. Then government schemes. There are several opportunities the government provide for businesses. I remember during the COVID-19 crisis, the government gave £10,000 to businesses, you know, and also gave them, I think, free interest loans of 50,000. Of course, unfortunately, a lot of businesses did not return the 50,000. Some of them declared bankruptcy and all that. But secure the right funding. Venture capital firms is an option, but if you have a big idea and you don't have capital to, you know, implement your idea, venture capital, the challenge with venture capital is that they take huge equity in your business. So they could say, well, we will own it 50-50 or 60-40 and all that. That's you know, these, you know, business angels, they tend to be a bit greedy, but it's an option, venture capital firms. So to scale your business, expand your market. You have new customer segment, you know, product diversification. I usually tell people, if you are starting a business, don't rely on one product. Have like 2-3, you know, products. So if one is failing, maybe the other two will compensate for the one failing. But if you focus on one product and, you know, the product is failing in the market, then you lose out. So product diversification is important. Customer diversification, geographical diversification of your business. If you have a business in Sunderland, fine, it's a localized area. If there's opportunity to ensure that your business can, probably you can sell your business in another part of the country using digital means, go for it. Again, so it's, you know, there are opportunities. You never can tell how your business will grow. So consider customer diversification, you know, product diversification, geographical diversification of your product or services. So expand your market base. You know, capitalize on social media and e-commerce platforms to market your product, your services. You know, people sell things on eBay, on Etsy, and all these other platforms. So use them. to leverage on social media, leverage on e-commerce to grow your business. That's another area. Build a strong team. If you know you can't do it alone, get a team. Some starting, like a family business, maybe they get their spouse to support them along the line. Get some people, hire them on maybe hourly basis and all that. But if you know that it's not what you can handle, and by yourself alone, and the business is growing, and you can afford to pay a reliable person to join your team, do that. But you need to do your costing very, very well. Okay. The network and collaboration. Go for trade shows, business groups, startup expos. Network with people in the similar line of business, because you never can tell where you will get the link that would profit that would impact your business positively. You never can tell the network that will be so profitable to your business. So please, I just want us to bear this in mind. So how to obtain a sponsorship license for your business in the UK? I think a lawyer would be the best person to talk about this, but this is literally I can get. So if you want to, based on my knowledge, right, the little knowledge I have, if you are a tier 2, if you're on tier 2 work visa, right, and then you start a business, right, you cannot then apply to the UK VI and sponsor yourself. I know people have been saying self-sponsorship. I don't think that is possible. You can start the business and then you now sponsor yourself. It will be outrightly rejected. Maybe if the lawyer says otherwise, honestly, but I just look at it that you can't do that. If that was possible, a lot of people would be doing it. Okay. So what is possible is to say, okay, you start a business. If the business, you have somebody who has indefinite leave to remain as a director and as a shareholder. In fact, the person should have a lion shareholder, maybe sort of arrangement between that person. Then the person, because it has the highest shareholding of the business, in quotes, legally speaking, then it could be, in the eyes of the law, it will be the owner of the business. Then it can sort of, get a sponsor license and sponsor a foreign worker. That's what I think, and that's according to the research I've done. So, but I believe our dear lawyer will shed more light on that. But to get a sponsor license, of course, you need a business. Register your business with Companies House. You must demonstrate that it's a legitimate, active business. Then the key person will be appointed, because these are the things required on the form that you fill online. So a key person, maybe authorizing officer, key contact, level 1 user. Then there are supporting documents that the UKVI will ask for: the certificate of incorporation, the bank statement, the annual account, because that's where they would tell, can you really sponsor this business? For example, in your annual account, if your total revenue is just 20,000 in a year, then they will wonder, 20,000 a year, you need to pay at least minimum wage. Can you afford to pay this person? So if they check their annual account and they see that is unrealistic, they will outrightly reject the application. Okay, and then pay the application fee. The application fee is not that much, to be honest. It's around between 500 and 1,000, depending whether it's a small company or a big size company. So once approved, your business can sponsor skilled worker visa applicant, and it's and there are compliance requirement that the business must meet, because the UK, the Home Office can withdraw licenses that are violated the requirement. And we've seen universities licenses being withdrawn from universities, businesses getting their license withdrawn because they didn't fully comply with the requirement for sponsorship. So I think I'm going to stop here. This is all I can say. So these are the services I provide. Business advice. You can register charities, business, do their company account, tax return. I support with audit, self-assessment, I do business valuation, investment analysis, economic analysis, because that's more or less my field. I'm an accountant. I'm also an economist. So I'm going to stop here in case there is any question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That's such an elaborate insights on everything that we actually need to know about registration of business in the UK. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your efforts. Thank you so much, everyone. I can see the shares, and I'm very sure that Dr. Aladesomi is happy to see all of us benefiting from this. I'm happy about it. If you have any question for Dr. Aladesomi, I will say that you should drop it in the chat box where we can actually pick it and read it out for him to answer. However, before he goes ahead to answer his questions, any question you have for him, you've already heard what he said. He specialized in registration of businesses and charity organization, business advices, tax return, and filing, and financial advice. It's a financial advisor, actually, to round it up. So thank you so much once again, sir. We'll be moving on to the second speaker, and Mr. Samuel Olatunji, just like I've said before, is an immigration lawyer, and he has been in the UK for so long. He has helped so many individuals and businesses also to transition from being under his sponsorship, to have their own self-sponsor license. And he's going to enlighten us more on Innovator Visa and Global Talent Visa. But before I invite him to discuss about it, I just want to give us few explanation about what I have gone through as a business owner in the UK. I would say that it hasn't been easy. And just to corroborate what Dr. Aladesomi has said, you just cannot jump into a business if you haven't made your proper research. See, you might have the idea, you might have every resources that you feel you need to progress, but I can categorically tell you that businesses in the UK, setting up a business in the UK is totally different from what businesses looks like in Nigeria. This place, setting up businesses, is really, really toughly censored by the UK government, HMRC, and the Company House. So it is not something you just want to dabble into. You want to get your facts right. You want to get every resources right. You want to make your research. You want to ask questions from people who are actually qualified to enlighten you. It's not about, oh, my friend said, or my friend has done this. Your friend that you see that is doing that might actually not have taken the right step. Yes, they might be progressing in the view of others, but at the end of the day, you might not know what your friend will be getting themselves into. So just like I've said, we established CK Africa in 2023. Of course, we have the idea of what we wanted to create. We have the resources to produce our products, our raw products, and to bring them into the UK. However, the full details of how business can actually venture and thrive in the UK, we were really, really blind to that. And our facts and our researches were not deeply coordinated and researched or found out. So because of that, we actually failed in 2023. And for a whole 1 year, I would say to you, live and direct right here, there's no gatekeeping here, because the period and the century that we have now, we just don't want to be showing our successes. Let people see the work that you've put in. Let people see your failure also, so that the next person that is coming is actually not jumping into whatsoever you've jumped into, and they are not making the same mistake just like you have made. So I'll be calling up Mr. Sam Olatunji, which is our second presenter, to discuss with us and to enlighten us about UK Innovator Visa and Global Talent Visa. The purpose of this visa, who is eligible for this visa, the core features and benefits, the target applicants, benefits and opportunities, general criteria for both visas, supporting document that if required, applicant process overviews, and legal requirements to switching to this visa, to getting these visas, and then common pitfalls to avoid while applying for this visa. Mr. Sam Olatuji will enlighten us more. He would give us detailed information. And after this, he would be open to receive each individual's to make more inquiry, or if you have elaborate clarification that you want to make, we'll share his full details here so that you can reach out to him directly. So I welcome you here, Mr. Sam Olatuji. Thank you for honoring this invitation, and we would want to hear from you directly, because we believe that you have everything it takes to enlighten and orient us about this UK Innovator Founder Visa and Global Talent Visa also. Thank you so much. So everyone, can you please share and help me welcome Mr. Sam Olatuji to come up to discuss with us? Few seconds. Mr. Sam, are you able to unmute yourself, sir? Hello, Mr. Sam. Sorry, let's just give him more time. Okay, let's give him more time, because I really cannot see him here. I think he's trying to do something. Probably his mic is failing. However, we are trying to collate all our questions all together. So while we wait for Mr. Sam to come up, Dr. Aladesomi, can I please throw some questions to you from our audience? So
Yes.
we have someone here asking what of the, I'm going to just be selecting the ones that I feel is really, what of the dependents of a visa worker, a skilled worker, is there any restriction? So I guess what this person is trying to ask is if there's a restriction for a person on a dependent visa to register their own business and be the director of the only director of the company. Can you please help us with this question, sir?
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the question. I think I replied. I'm just about typing.
Oh, okay.
Yes, absolutely. The independence of a skilled worker is not restricted to register a business. There's no restriction in terms of 20 hours or any other kind of restriction. So yeah, a dependent can register, be a director, be a shareholder of a business in the UK. No restriction. Yeah.
All right, sir. To stretch this question further, sir, can a main applicant who is on a skilled worker visa be an active or passive employee of a company created? Probably, let me elaborate this. If I'm creating a business and we are both shareholder on this business, can a party who is actually the main sponsor. I'm sorry, a main I think the main benefactor of a sponsored visa at the moment, can they actually be like a passive director? Is there a way to that? Is there a particular percentage that they have to hold on in the company when registering?
Right. Okay. Thank you. In terms of shareholding, there is no restriction in terms of percentage of shareholding, because that shareholding is more or less the capital investment. So what capital you bring into the business, you divide it in units of shares. But in terms of the company employing somebody who is on skilled visa, right? Yes, the company can, but the person on skilled visa cannot do more than 20 hours because it's been sponsored to work full time, 37.5 hours with another company. So if you now start a business, you can't do more than 20 hours for your business. So what could be done, perhaps to be on the safer side, is to say, well, if you have a spouse, your spouse could be a director as well. Okay, and then that your spouse could be the one doing most of the work, less in theory, and then ensure to justify that you're not doing more than 20 hours because your spouse has no restriction in terms of how many hours that can be done. So, but the person on a work visa that is starting a business and is a director of that business should not do more than 20 hours.
All right. Thank you so much for your response, sir. We'll be taking other questions later. Can we please, Mr. Sam Olatunji, are you here, sir? Can you please unmute your mic, sir?
I think I unmuted it already. Is it not working? Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Very well, sir. Very well, sir.
I sincerely apologize for the hiccup. I got everything set up even before we started, but unfortunately, I think I got something wrong in my office. I sincerely apologize. And the only thing there is that because the system I've already set up seems not to be working, so I'm using my phone to make sure that I connect. So I may not be able to share my presentation, but I promise you that I will send it across and it can be shared to all participants. Yeah. First of all, I want to acknowledge the people that put this thing together. Thank you all very much, and God will bless you. I know the type of work we are trying to do is to help people, and I pray God will reward you thereof. And I also want to thank my the previous speaker, who has also sacrificed to be here as well. Now, what I'll be talking about will be on two fronts. Immigration is very, very wide, but I've been asked to speak about the Innovator Founder VISA, the advantages, how can you go about it, and all that. I want to start with that first. I must say that immigration in the UK is, I also going to talk about global talent. Now, the first thing I will talk about is going to be the innovator. Now, the question we have to be, what is this? And what is the purpose? What do you really need to get yourself started? Now, this is an attractive medium that somebody can get a visa and use that one to settle in the UK eventually. Now, I described the key objectives as, why did the government set this up in the first instance? The first one is to drive innovation in the UK market. It is also an avenue to create employment opportunities and also to foster economic growth and attract global entrepreneurial talents. Now, who are the people that are eligible for this? Yeah, for this type of application. You can be a new finder. You can be the first time. You can be a first time entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Oh no.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, please. Can we please mute our mic? Thank you.
So it could be a first time entrepreneur.
Zipper. All right. I'm well. How are you?
Mrs. Ebere, can you please mute yourself? Thank you. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, you could be a first time entrepreneur. You could be an innovative business. You might have an innovative business idea. But even in doing this, you need an endorsement. A document is going to be required. You don't need to have what I will consider to mean a track record. Then the second eligibility might be, you might be someone that have a previous visa, or if you are continuing in the same business. If that is the case, you might not necessarily need new endorsement because you probably have got that before. And what then can happen is that might be a means of trying to grow your business. What you need to show in that case is to show that your business is progressing. You might be an experienced person who is experienced finder. Yes, you have UK experience, you have a turnover that is probably over $1 million. In that case, you might not need an endorsement as well. But the basic requirement we have to be, you must be over 18, you must pass English at least B2 level, you must maintain funds for at least 1,270, and you must have a clean immigration history. Now, what are going to be, I think the most questions that have been asked are two questions. The first one is, what is the financial requirement? And what also are the documents that I need to present to qualify for this? Yeah. Now, in terms of the innovators funders regime, now the amount of money you need will be different depending on the industry that you are. Say, for example, if you have like a software company, well, you might need between 50 to 50,000. If you are looking into e-commerce, you probably will need, let's say, about 25 to 75,000. If you are into services, probably your requirement will be between 10,000 to 40,000. If you're in manufacturing, well, you might be looking at, say, between 50 to 20,000. So in that case, what the finance you need is based on the industry that you are trying to get into. Now, what are the FIFA costs that you have to? Number one, remember I said before that you will need an endorsement. Yes, that will probably be costing you about £1,000. If you are applying outside the UK, your visa fee will have to be 1,274. If you are in the UK, it's going to be 1,590. And remember that you have to pay NHS charges as well, which is 105. You will need 2 contacts, and that may be costing you. So in summary, what the amount of money you are probably going to be needing or you require will probably have to be between 6,379 to 6,695. Yeah, that would be the amount that you will need. But what are the documents that you are going to need? Number one, you will need your identity documents, your current passports, your previous passports. If you have a BRP, you will need that. It does not matter whether it has expired or not. If you have a national ID, you will need to provide that. If you have a birth certificate, you might need to provide that. Then in terms of what documents would the business need to present, first of all, you need to present an endorsement letter. You need a business plan. Just like the doctor said earlier, a good business plan will be able to help. You need financial projections, and you need to have done at least a basic market research in the industry that you are going to go into. And then what is this innovation idea that you have? You need to provide the evidence. It's not a wishy-washy one that you can just abuse anybody and say, oh, I'm a singer. And then now when it comes to you presenting evidence of you being proficient in that, you cannot produce any. So you cannot abuse anybody into that. Then in terms of financial evidence, you will need to provide at least 6 month bank statements. Where is the fund coming from? Yes, if you have investment, where is the evidence? If you, for your maintenance fund, you need to provide the evidence. Say, for example, you are from Nigeria. That's just an illustration, don't get me wrong. I think the rate now is about 2,100 and something. So if before, maybe you need, let's say, this 6,000, multiply will be 12,000. We multiply now, you have to know how much it's going to be, but you need to provide that evidence. In terms of your supporting document, you also need your English test, you need your TB test if you are in a country whereby you need that. If you have academic certificate, you need to provide that. You need to provide also reference letters. Now, these are the documents that you have to provide. Now, I will go into the global talents one. I have a question and answer that I've already prepared, but let's go into this one first. In terms of global talent, you don't really need no investment money, no minimum salary, no maintenance fund proof, no sponsor funding as well. Yeah. In terms of, just give me a second. Yeah. Now, what is the purpose? What is the government's purpose of this global talent visa? Why did the government set it up? Well, it is to attract global leaders and emerging talent. It is to strengthen UK's competitive advantage. It is also to foster innovation and cultural development. It is to build international collaborations. Now, who are the people that are qualified or that are eligible? They have to be people with exceptional talents, that are recognized leaders in their area of concentration. They have to have proven achievements, and they must have like an international recognition. But if they meet all that, they might give them for 3 years a path that can lead to settlement. Now, there must also be someone that have an exceptional promise, because the UK is not looking for just anybody. They are looking for somebody in this area of the visa that will bring, something that is promising, something that will increase and improve the UK economy. Yeah, those are the things. Now, you will need to have, what is your research? What have you done? Yes, you have to provide all that. Now, in terms of finance, one of the things that you are going to need is a total application fee of 766. And if you want to split that, you need, after your visa, yes, you will need to pay one fee of 192. But remember, the IHS charge is going to be for 3 years, and it's going to be 3,005. So the cumulative money you're going to be looking for, minimum, is going to be 3,871. Remember that that's compared with the previous discussion we had of over 6,000. This one is going to be 3,871. Now, the major issue we have with this is people, they just talk within their group. Oh, they will say, oh, you can do this one, or you can do this one, just like the previous speaker, my previous speaker was trying to say. A lot of people have a gross misconception about what they call, it's something like self-sponsorship anyway, but that is the way they target. I will come back to that later. But one of the pitfalls is quality. They provide a lot of documents, but there's no quality in it. Yes, maybe their shipment, let's say, for example, somebody said I'm a musician. I was recognized in 1990. Yes, if you try to provide that 1990 evidence in 2025, that will probably not work. If maybe you have to go through an endorsement, if there is a weak recommendation of what they assume your performance is going to be, or altogether, you are supposed, maybe perhaps you are a singer. I'm sorry, I'm using the singer. I don't have anything against them, but you are going through a different route where you are not proficient. That is one of the reasons why their application will be rejected, because they are in the wrong sector. Yeah, or probably they applied when they are applying for endorsements, they apply to a different body. Yeah, so you must be sure that the body that you are applying to for your endorsements is the right one. Or probably they are missing many documents. They have letters, but the letters are not really pinpoint what the Home Office is requiring, but rather it is generic. Or probably in their narration, it is very, very poor. Now, a good summary will have to be, what is the main difference between the Innovator Founder VISA and the Global Talent VISA? The target audience for the innovator are entrepreneurs, and whereas for global talents are just sector leaders. Yes, in terms of investment required for innovator, it's going to be dependent on your business specific. So for global talents, there is really none. In terms of English language, for innovator, you need at least a B2, and for global, that is really not required. Now, in terms of how flexible you can own your business. It can be a limited company, it doesn't matter. But in terms of global talent, that seems to be a very, very complex one. Yeah. And in 3 years, the cost of innovator might be amounting to, like I said before, 6,695 plus the cost of investments, for innovator. But for global talents, you might probably be looking at 3,871. Yeah. But my advice may have to be that in every of these things, make sure that you seek legal advice. I'm aware that a lot of people are falling down because in their group, they told them, no, you can do this or you can get that, but it doesn't really work. And because it doesn't work, it puts them in a very, very difficult position, and they end up not knowing exactly what they are doing. Now, like the previous speaker said, like I was trying to say, there is nothing really like self-sponsorship. Because at the end of the day, when you have to make an application to the Home Office to say, okay, I want to be to sponsor, there are criteria you have to follow. And one of the criteria is that your contacts, yes, or your key contacts must have at least indefinite leave. And here you just came from wherever 2 years ago. You don't have indefinite leave, and somebody is telling you, oh, you can sponsor. How would you be able to sponsor yourself when the key contact there that must have indefinite leave for a British passport or established? It's not settled. We're not talking of somebody that have leave to remain. We're not talking of somebody that have that his visa is still contained. If your visa is still contained, one way or the other, then you cannot sponsor yourself. And there are criteria, like I said, that you have to follow. There are questions that you have to follow. If they ask you for a bank statement, for example, you have to show that, okay, I have this, 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 And your bank statement, like the previous speaker said, your bank statement for the whole 6 months or whatever is showing that you pay there, let's say 4,000. And you say, oh, I'm going to get, they ask you how much are you going to be paying this staff? Yes, and you said you're going to be paying the staff 27,000. And here you are in your evidence, your bank statement is showing that you have only earned 4,000 in the last 6 months. It looks bogus. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. So as a result of that, you may not be able to get exactly what you think you will need. Now, before being asked some questions, I've already prepared some question and answer here, which probably will be able to help. It may and it may not. Now, I've already outlined what are the fees, the visa fees for both scheme. Yeah, and how much money that you need. There is no really, it depends on the route that you are trying to follow. How do you know you have enough money? Well, what route are you trying to pursue? That will determine what amount of money that you know. Now you may want to know, do I need all the money up front? Well, all you need to do is to show that you have funds for immediate business needs, at least between 6 to 12 months. You must have a realistic plan for ongoing funding. You must have understanding of your cash flow requirement. And if you said, okay, you have money, it's not money that is stuck somewhere that you don't have access to. You have to provide evidence that you have access to that money. Well, how would an endorsement body probably assess your funding if it is sufficient? Well, your specific business model and sector will determine that. The amount of research and competitor analysis you have done will determine that. Your financial projection and assumptions will probably suggest that as well. The industry standard and benchmark. Remember, whatever that you prepare, what they will normally do is to put like a comparison. Yes, business A, business B. If they compare people in the in sector with you, and yours is showing you are going to make or you can generate, let's say, 200,000. And it is well known after their research that it doesn't really work in this way. You can only make about 20,000 or thereabout. Those are some of the things whereby the adjustment body may not even be able to even give you any recommendation. Yeah. Well, can you use mixed funding sources? Yes. But what are the acceptable? It must be your personal savings. The business, you have a personal savings, yes, you can use that. If you have a gift, let's say your brother, your sister, your nephew, or whatever it is, they might be able to give you a money, but it must be a gift. They must accompany that with a credible letter. If you sell any of your assets, well, you might be able to show evidence. Yeah, and if you're already in business, you have to show that you are trading and that your business is making money. Well, can somebody invest that if you have an investment agreement, like an angel something? Yes, that is possible. Or if you are into venture capitaling, yes, but you must provide this with documentations. What is not acceptable are unsecured personal loans, or you have credit cards, or you say, oh, I have simple currency, yeah, that is not converted, or you have undocumented cash. Yes, nobody is going to believe you. You are just going to keep your cash by yourself. What about if my business model change after I've been approved? Well, you just need to know if the major changes, you need another endorsement from the endorsing agent. You need the approval. Yes, your funding should still be appropriate, and you must maintain your innovative nature. Yes, document and changes for the meet, and your contact will still have to be provided. Yeah. So I think for now, I will stop there and await any question, please.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate the effort you put into this. And however, thank you so much for the chairs. I can see that. Thank you. I feel Mr. Samuel can also see that too. This means that our people are actually like appreciating the effort you put into explaining this in details. However, before we move to question and answer improper, I understand that you've actually touched every aspect of this Innovator Founder Visa and Global Talent Visa that we're expecting you to touch. But to make it more clearer to people, I would want to ask some certain questions, and I will be very specific about it so that this stick into everyone's brain at the same time, so that we will not go ahead and fall into a pit hole while trying to register for this particular type of visa. So according to what I've been able to gather from what Mr. Samuel said here, was that the difference between this Innovator Founder Visa and Global Talent Visa is that Innovator Founder Visa is specifically meant for people who are into entrepreneurship. Like you have a clothing business, you have a food business, you have businesses. I mean, like the one you're providing, you have products to sell. Sir, am I correct with that, sir?
That's correct, yes.
Yes. And for Global Talent Visa, this is a kind of visa that is approved for people who are into high-skilled profession, such as IT professionals, you know, the tech bros and tech Cs, and some educators, people who actually venture into service provision profession, not specifically having a product to sell. Is that correct, sir?
Yeah, that's correct. But that can be in any sector, to be honest. But the thing have to be, you have to be a leader in that sector. You're not just going to be somebody that is not known.
Okay.
Yeah, that was why I gave the illustration before. Somebody was giving a recognition in 1990. Yeah, we're now in 2025. What is the recognition that you have now? Yes, the one you have in that is already stale. It won't work anymore, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So to elaborate this, when it comes to this Global Talent Visa, I'm going to cite an example of a well-known man. I don't know if Mr. Obadino Anoluakpo is here. So Mr. Obadino Anoluakpo is a known Agile Lord, a Scrum Master tutor, educator, and Agile Lord. So for someone like him, I'm just using that because that is the best thing that actually comes to my brain at the moment. So many of us might not know him, but if you know what Scrum Master is, and he has been able to train, he has been a leader, he has so many people who have trained under him, and he's also someone that has really been endorsed by international companies also. So for someone like that, can actually venture into this Global Talent Visa. So I'm just trying to cite an example of what these visas are, and when anyone is planning to eventually apply for it, you know which one you're applying for. And also, Mr. Sam also stated that the amount for registration for Innovators Founder Visa is around 6,000 plus in total, and for Global Talent Visa is 3,000 plus. That is in UK pounds. And also for Global Talent Visa, you need endorsing organization. I don't know if I put that right, to actually endorse you, to say that you definitely being recognized and you are doing what you have filed that you are doing. So I believe that all these makes it more clearer. And when it comes to UK Innovator Founder Visa, Mr. Sam made us understand that you cannot just go ahead and apply for this just because you have a business. There must be certain amount of money that this business is generating. And if you are being asked to provide a statement of account of so number of months, they should be able to see that this business is actually generating an income that makes you qualify. They can trust that, okay, you are contributing to the economy. And also, if you are going to be applying for any self-sponsorship visa, like we used to say it, your income that you are generating must be enough to even sponsor someone, to sponsor you, let alone sponsoring someone. You cannot be generating a total revenue of £20,000 in a year and you say you want to apply for a self-sponsorship visa. And they have also said that to apply for these visas, you can actually receive gifting. This is not crowdfunding. Gifts that can be backed up with a genuine letter from whosoever is gifting you, probably from a family friend, whether from a family or from a friend. So I think I've been able to make more clarification about these two visas. So if we have questions, can we please drop it for Mr. Sam Olatunji? But sir, as per the question that I've asked Dr. Aladesomi earlier, and he has been able to make clarification on it to a very reasonable extent. So for someone on skilled worker visa, can they have sponsorship license? Can they also sponsor someone? Let me elaborate this, sir. Can any business, probably that is co-directed, I mean by spouses, can they have sponsorship visa? Just because it is not only the person that is on skilled worker visa, the main applicant or the main sponsored is not the only one running the business. If they are running it as co-director, can they have sponsorship visa and license while they are also on a tier 2 sponsored visa?
Now, the question will have to be that, let's say you want to sponsor your wife or your husband or whatsoever it is, there must be disclosure. Yeah, there must be disclosure. You must state that the person you are sponsoring is your wife. Yeah, otherwise there will be conflict of interest. And the question, I think partly I answered that question before. Now, this sponsorship business actually started to get prominence in the last 3-4 years. Yes, that was when it really got. It's not. That doesn't mean that was when it started. Now, what we know so far is that if somebody came here in 3 years ago, the person, it's not likely that the person will have indefinite leave. It's not most likely. Yes, it's not most likely that the person will have. So if your person that came that do not have indefinite leave, your business must have at least key contacts. And that key contact must have indefinite leave, must have a British passport, must have a British passport or indefinite leave. Both of you don't have indefinite leave, so that will never work. That will never work. I don't know if I answered the question.
You're on mute. We can't hear you.
Oh, thank you, sir. So thank you so much, Mr. Olatunji. You'll be able to answer our questions so well. However, I would love to engage our audience. Anyone who have not been able to put any question on the group now, this goes to both Dr. Aladesomi and Mr. Sam. Now, can you please raise your hand so we can allow you to actually ask your questions directly if you have anything to ask before we round up for the day? Does anyone have any question? All right, sir. Sir, can you please go ahead, sir?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you
sir.
so very much for the enlightenment. Thank you for the organizers also, first of all, and say Okwayemi and every member of the team. Thanks also to our dear pastor, Dr. Olekon, and also to Mr. Sam, the immigration lawyer. It's directly to yourselves, Mr. Sam. You mentioned about the global talent. Thank you for clarifying between the Innovator Founder and the global talent. On the global talent, you said a couple of our folks just seek advice from their peers, and even when they may have some records, our presentations could appear to be invalid. If we need some support from you, do you offer such service or other services also? It would be nice if we can have your contact, so also we can reach across to you at least for as many that are interested in that, so that you can guide us appropriately. Now, we also want to, if possible, leverage on your knowledge, because this is your space. Beyond just the global talent and innovator, then of course the popular skilled worker, are there other routes? Most individuals also use the student routes to get into the UK. Are there some other routes, possibly they are not popular, that could be there, that we may want to look into, or you may advise that we could consider as well too? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Can I go ahead? Oh,
Yes,
thank you,
please
sir.
go ahead, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm very much happy to help everyone that comes from Opoyemi. I will not charge for any consultation. You can be assured of that. But if it goes beyond consultation, if I'm going to be helping you to complete your application form, or I'm going to be helping you to do one thing or the other, then a fee will be payable. Yeah, but for consultation, I will do my best not to restrict the amount of hour you can stay with me. But one thing there is this: by the grace of God, I'm very, very busy. Apoyemi already have my contact, and I've given her the permission to share my contact. But one issue that is there is this: sometimes I'm in the court. Even when I'm in the office, I'm either writing or reading or whatsoever. So my time is sometimes very, very constrained. So if you call me, don't say, oh, Sam said if we call him, he's going to pick his phone, blah, blah. Yes, that is what I said. If you call me and I did not pick the phone, please bear with me. I can't understand. I'm probably doing one thing or the other. Send me a message. Yes, that it is you and that you are calling from a. I receive quite a lot of calls. All the glory to God. And sometimes I cannot return all calls. I need to know that my time is going to be valued. Yes, so send me a text to say you are from Opoyemi, and I will do my best to call you back. Now, about whether or not there are other known or unknown routes. Now, yes, there are many routes, or yes, there are some routes, but some of them, unfortunately, I may not be able to discuss online. Yes, so if you want that, say for example, if you get married, for example, yes, I'm not. If you're already married, you cannot get married, though. You have to know that. Yes, then for example, you marry. Yes, of course, that is a means of changing your roots. You're not married, now we are married, and all that. Now, I know some of us have been asked this question over and over and over again. Somebody came and a visitor, or you said, can I marry? Of course, you can marry. But that marriage, unfortunately, if you want to go to the registry, somebody is going to be asking you to bring your paper. To bring your passport. And the moment you take your passport here, they're going to be calling home office. Yes? And if you're not here, they're going to detain you there. And in the other fact, in the truth, you cannot change your visa while you are a visitor. Yeah? So if your visa gets extinguished, they give you 6 months, you decide to say, okay, I'm not going home. I'm not encouraging it by any means. Let me put that on record. Yes. But if your visa expires, yes, and you are now an overseer, then there are rules that you can. But if you came as a student, now you know that already you cannot switch until you complete your studies. Yes, before you can do that, but you can't do that anymore. Yes, so if you cannot do that anymore, what can you do? Probably if you're single, you can marry, or maybe find somebody else that can sponsor you. You can move to a sponsorship visa, and the law permits you. Now, I've had 2 incidents in the last 4 weeks that have to do with family. Now, this is not a template. Yes, I must put that on record. Now, the one of them came with as a partner. Let's forget about whether they're a man or a woman. But things were getting rough. Yes, and they had children. Now they stopped talking to one another. You see, and one thing I want us to bear in mind is this: I strongly believe or hold the view. It doesn't matter what anybody will feel. If God is with us, there are ways that we open. I know people that will say, "Oh, don't bring God into this." I will bring God into this. The reason is because there is nothing God cannot do. And if you don't know, if you don't know, I'm sure all of us probably will know that there are things that God will change. I've been to court whereby for my client, I know myself that they are not qualified. But yeah, we presented our case, and the judge agreed with us to say, "Okay, I'm going to do it." You think what do you think happened here? You think it happened without prayer? No, it happened because God was on it. So these people had that problem. What do we have to do? We have to change. We have to switch to another route. That gives the one party, don't forget whether it's a man or woman, the opportunity to be able to. And I've done that in the last 4 weeks by the grace of God. And it worked for them. So there is no state that you are, if your visa has not expired, yes, that you cannot. But you must find out, you must check that yes, there is an authoritative criteria, permission for you to switch. You must know that. Just like we were just saying, if you want to change from student to something else, it's not going to. It's not a permissible way of switching, but it is possible for you to switch. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Does any other person, Mr. Badino, was he able to answer your question, sir?
Yes, very well. Thank you so much, sir. That's
all right. Does anyone have more questions for our guest speakers before we call it a day? Okay. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Okay. Modukme Osho, can you please unmute your mic and speak, please? Is Modukme Osho trying to speak?
No, I'm not trying to speak.
Oh, you're sharing. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you, Dr. Aladesomi. Thank you, Mr. Sam. Mr. Sam, thank you so much, because I know that I've been on your neck. Your box will have been so filled with my messages right now. And I really so appreciate your time. I really so appreciate your efforts in making sure that we have the best information so far, because if we don't have it, we're definitely going to be falling into where we're not supposed to be falling. And we'll be unnecessarily spending our resources and wasting our money into something that will not yield any positive results. So thank you so much for your time. And I've also shared their contacts, Dr. Aladesomi and Mr. Sam's contacts on the chat, everyone. If you want to reach them directly, please go ahead. You're free to call them. You're free to send email. You're free to message them on WhatsApp. However, for both of them, they are quiet, very busy people. So if they don't respond to you immediately, please do not get angry. Just take your time. And if by 1 or 2 days you've not received any responses from them, just try and send another message again. And if anyone is sending any messages to them, please indicate that you're from me, that you're a contact from Opeyemi Adebowale, and they will definitely go ahead and do that. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Thank you so much, Mr. Sam. That will be all for today. And for everyone who have joined today, I want to believe that we all benefit in one way or the other, including myself, because we all kept hearing about self-censorship, blah, 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 and all. And I can categorically say that we've been getting it wrong all the while. And I just also want to let you know that for everyone who actually feared to register their businesses in the UK, please go ahead and register it. Dr. Aladesomi is there to guide and direct you with this little information that they've given to us also. You can be rest assured that they will guide you right. And just like myself and my husband have done, because we're not so sure of what we would meet or what will happen when we create a business, we made sure that we became co-director. So both of us have shares in the company. So even if the idea is yours, I'm saying this in Dr. Aladesomi's voice now, that even if the idea is yours, make sure you're doing it together with your partner, with your spouse, so that you both can be co-director and you can always liaise and discuss together. One person might be actively involved in the business while the other person is passively involved in the business and giving support where necessary. You know, we cannot do it alone. If you want to move fast, you can move alone, but if you want to really go far, you have to go with someone. And I'm very sure I'm a testament that that is not a wrong saying. It actually pays to move together so well. So Dr. Aladesomi is there to give you any financial advice that you need. And Mr. Sam, on the other hand, is always there to guide you when it comes to your immigration issues. If you feel that your visa is being delayed, or probably someone have already seized your COS and you are stuck in the middle, or you want to change your visa type from being under a sponsorship, we know you are filled enough, you know, to go for that. And also changing your immigration status, having getting immigration advices, and all the other stuff that is encompassed in anything immigration. Please feel free to reach out to Mr. Sam, and please let him know that let them both know that you're from Opeyemi. Thank you. We'll be holding this kind of session time to time. We'll be discussing about different things as it goes that will help our businesses. I mean, we are all here now, we are families, and this is the best we can do for each other. So I will let us go for now, and then if anything is coming up very soon, we'll definitely communicate it as fast as we can so you can get prepared for it. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. I remain grateful for the opportunity. Thank you.
Honored, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yes,
thanks for the
yes,
invite. God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all our speakers. CK Afrique, much love. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you
Well
for
done.
joining. God bless
Yeah.
you, man. Thank you, Mrs. Temiloluwa, Mrs. Modukpetoye, everyone, Mrs. Lucy Ebere, my boss. Texas, thank you, ma. Sekina Takambi, Omomi Grace, Oluwatoyin Lawson, thank you, everyone. My mom is here also. Michael Adeleye, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. God bless you all.
Sunday Toye said he's here as well. Oh.
Mr. Sunday Toye, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining. God will honor you. Thank you. Ademosu Queen, Adenusi Damlola Jobiewe Atinuke. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for honoring this call. My mom, Yatobi, I see you. And my husband, the backbone behind this, you know, this strong woman. Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing us to do this. God bless you all. Bye. Stop recording.